Humanity has long been in awe of the engineering prowess of ancient civilizations, from the enormous blocks of the Great Pyramid to the intricately designed temples that defy explanation. Did they have sophisticated technologies that are now extinct? Or how did they accomplish such wonders with only crude tools? This narrative delves into the mysteries of ancient construction, revealing evidence of techniques and equipment that defy accepted wisdom and allude to a lost inventiveness, or possibly even unearthly knowledge. Massive mega machines are used to dig, cut, and lift stones on quarries and construction sites. These artificial beings use contemporary hydraulic technologies to accomplish the labor of thousands of men while dwarfing their creators. Contemporary skyscrapers could never be built without such tools. However, ancient civilizations were carrying out the same task thousands of years ago when they used enormous stones to build their temples and monuments. Even today's engineers would find it difficult to handle these massive blocks, many of which weighed more than 100 tons. But thousands of years ago, they were cut out of solid rock, carried for miles, and then lifted into place with precision. However, how, as suggested by mainstream archaeologists, did they use hammers, chisels, and copper wire to cut these enormous blocks of stone? Without a wheel or a pulley system, could they have lifted and moved them? Or did advanced technologies that have since been lost to science exist in ancient civilizations? Robert Bauval. The pyramids are simply absent from Giza. Egyptologists refer to the pyramids as valley temples. There's always something wrong when you go there, and it doesn't take a genius to figure that out. These temples, which are small in comparison to the pyramids, are constructed with blocks of 100 tons, some of them 200 tons, while the pyramids are constructed with blocks of 2 to 3 tons. Let me explain the meaning of a 100-ton block. One of these blocks would result from squeezing 100 family cars together. First of all, why would they want to use 100-ton blocks, regardless of how they move them? The logic just isn't there. They have no justification for wanting to construct using semi-truck-sized granite blocks. It's similar to, okay, let's do something, but let's do it as difficult as we could possibly do it. I firmly believe that advanced technology was used in these prehistoric rocks because, if we visit a stone quarry today, we can see the size of the equipment needed to perform comparable tasks. Narrator. Proponents of the ancient alien theory contend that our ancestors were given technological know-how or tools by aliens, rather than that aliens constructed these magnificent monuments. Chris Dunn, an engineering specialist, has studied ancient Egyptian construction tools for many years. Egyptologists typically teach us that the ancient Egyptians used simple tools. Every day they went to work grinding holes in the tough rock of granite and diorite with copper chisels, copper tubes, or stone balls and sand. Information that I have accumulated over the years seems to refute the idea that they possessed basic tools. Narrator. Dunn had the opportunity to visit ancient sites in Egypt. His discovery has turned out to be both groundbreaking and contentious. Dunn. The Great Pyramid alone contains 2.5 million blocks of stone, as can the Giza Plateau and all the stones that were erected there, as well as Khafra's and Menkaura's pyramids. They needed to have a productive way to cut them to size and install them. Someone must have been present and said, "Okay, I need a block this size," and then delivered a block of that size to them. Stat. Just right away. Narrator. At Abu Rawash, a few miles north of Giza, Dunn was looking for a clue when he noticed a granite block with a deep cut on it. Dunn. I had no idea what to think when I saw it. Only after days of trying to figure it out, and occasionally waking up at 3 in the morning to scratch my head and ask myself, well, how did they make this cut? Finally, they realized that they needed a saw with a diameter of 35 feet to cut that thing. Many mainstream archaeologists oppose the notion that the ancient Egyptians used giant saws. Dunn was persuaded, though. I searched for tool marks because I used to be a machinist. I could be accused of saying, well, if you're going to look for something, you're probably going to find it because you're looking at it through a certain filter. I search for them everywhere I go. I agree. Accepted. But why it's there is the question. That is a machine mark, in my opinion. But in those days, there were no machines. What do I do then? I simply search for additional machine marks, and they are everywhere. They can be found on statues, especially in the Museum of Luxor. The side of Amon's buttock where it meets the bench appears to have an undercut and an impression. The tool had slipped. Consequently, it must have been a very effective tool. Narrator. Dunn also thinks that the big pits in the ground at Giza were used to store the 35-foot saws, not as mainstream archaeologists claim, but as boat pits. Dunn. I guess that they were saw pits. Before placing the blocks in the Great Pyramid, they passed them through the saws, which were positioned in these pits.